Hello everyone, my name is Damien. I am an instructor for Arcadia, and today we're going to be talking about the hi-hat stand and how to troubleshoot, set it up, and look for any issues you may be having. First, we will go over the components of the hi-hat stand on this Tama Classic model. First, we have the clutch for the top hi-hat cymbal. We have the adjustable height shaft over here. We have the adjustable angle plate for the bottom hi-hat cymbal. We have the hi-hat rod, lower connector shaft, foot plate, and bottom assembly that we will go further into detail later in the video. I'll be using a small splash to replicate the hi-hat cymbal so it's easier to manage for the video. Firstly, we will look at the top assembly. Here we have the clutch, a multi-piece metal and felt sandwich that holds the top hi-hat. The design never changes much between different models. Here's the basic design. A bottom lock screw, felt, another felt, top screw, and top locking screw. The top screw simply prevents the screw beneath it from moving. Now that the cymbal is held together, let's look at the plate assembly. It's usually just a piece that holds the bottom hi-hat, and most have an adjustable screw. We will look at that later in the video. Now that we understand the top assembly, let's look at the rod and top shaft placement. Here, we simply attach the rod to the socket right down here. And we're going to slot the top shaft top over it. Lock the wing nut. And now, if we had the bottom hi-hat cymbal, we would simply drop that right over top. Once the bottom cymbal is on, we would get our top cymbal with the clutch on it and just slot it through. We'll talk about the spacing of the hi-hats later on with real hi-hat cymbals. And please note, not all rods and clutches are the same size, so please be aware if you are buying these pieces separately. Now for the bottom assembly. Legs are pretty straightforward as they spread out and touch the ground for support. Adjust it until the foot plate is level with the floor. In this model, the legs spread out like this. And we close with the wing nut. Most pedals have two forks that are squeezed together and put into these two holes. Make sure to undo this if you're transporting or moving these to make sure you don't damage them. Most hi-hats also have two screws at the bottom that can be adjusted to either stick out or pull back in. They are usually meant for carpet or other rugged surfaces. Do not let them protrude if it is on hard wood floors or thin padding, as it will ruin whatever soft material is beneath it. Now that it's all set up, let's adjust to your preferred settings. Use the collars of the lower shaft to change the height of the hi-hats to your desired height. Most of them have a locking collar to make sure it stays that height or to make a quick assembly in the future. For the height between hi-hats, I usually put 2 fingers between the hi-hats to separate them and lock it in with a wing nut. This is for rock style hi-hats. We'll discuss different setups later on. Remember that screw here? That is to adjust the angle of the bottom hi-hat. This is so that there is consistent contact between the cymbals for more of a sizzle effect when struck open. Now, some models are equipped with fine tuners for stiffness and height of the foot plate. If you have one, play around with it and see what you enjoy the most. Lastly, we'll talk about the 3 different cymbal styles: focused, rock and roll, and beginner style. For focus, this is when the 2 cymbals are parallel with each other, allowing you to have a crisp click when pressed, and making sure you have a good clamp when playing closed sound very audible. Rock and roll is usually a big angle on the bottom cymbal with good separation. This makes playing the open struck sound very abrasive with the ability to control the tonality of the sizzling open hi-hats. Lastly, the beginner setup. It's usually a small angle on the bottom hi-hats with minimal spacing, and this makes the open sound much more controllable, and closing it takes little effort. I hope you enjoyed the tutorial. If you have any further questions, please ask your instructor for help or reach out to one of our staff. We are happy to assist.